What's up, everybody? John back. This is John from Jon Does. This is the show Jon Does. I do stuff, and then I talk about it. And one day I'll show you when I do stuff. Oh, man. What's up, everybody? Back again. It's Tuesday, and the dog's barking because, you know what? The phone's ringing. That's what it is. The phone rings, the dog whines, and that's the life I live. Before we get started today, just to help out the channel. Sorry, I'm stuttery today. I gotta clear the cobwebs out of the old brain compartment. Right up here. I gotta use this hand so I don't cover my face. wilddinosaur.com. It's the best way to support this channel. It is my website where you can find all my art projects for the most part. Ryan whines when he hears the phone ring. Yeah, unless it's you. I'm always like, fuck it. wilddinosaur.com, best place to support the channel. I have my merch store there. Here's one of my tote bags I show at every episode. They're really nice. They're canvas. I don't know if you can really see that, but it is nice. It's a nice material. And the handles, you have color options. There's red, yellow, and black, I believe, on the store. So check it out. Buy a shirt, buy a sweatshirt, buy a tote bag, buy some socks, some stickers, whatever. It all is helpful for me, and really helps the channel grow. So, right off the top, I didn't think there was going to be a lot to talk about today, but it turns out there is. I'm going to start off with, let's see. We'll start off on a somber note, and then we'll get progressively into more and more stuff. And to start off, there was a shooting on the set of Law and Order. This was in New York, and it's an unfortunate, terrible circumstance. This wasn't a shooting like the Rust shooting with Alec Baldwin. This was a set security personnel was sitting in their car at about 5:15 a.m. and somebody came up to their car, opened the door, and shot them. And this is just a terrible tragedy that unfortunately happens a lot in the United States. And yeah, I just want to take a minute to remember this 31-year-old security guard. I don't really want to give out names. That's not my place. And I think they have put out a name recently, but it is sad. It's I don't really have a whole lot to say other than this is terrible. This shouldn't be happening. And my heart goes out to him and his family, the victim's family. This, again, I don't know how things are going to get picked up through other media. Ryan sent me this story earlier today. And I think he sent me the Hollywood Reporter or Variety link. Let's see, what was it? It was the Deadline. And I appreciate that. A lot of working stiffs in the industry. Yeah, absolutely. There's a ton of people in the industry. And, like, a lot of us talk about, people that work on movies as if they're huge millionaires. I mean, some of them are for sure. Actors, especially lead actors, they get contracted a lot of money. The producers, directors sometimes and get a huge chunk out of it. But then there's this, set security. There's lighting grips. There's PAs. Unfortunately, it is a rough industry. Yeah, nobody deserves this. Nobody deserves to just, be shot. Unfortunately, I do think it is a big issue in this country. And just wanted to give some time to this story because I do think it's important. First of all, somebody lost their life, and the other part of it is, as audience member, we have to remember what goes into making these, and people literally put their lives on the line. If it wasn't this, there's hundreds and hundreds of stories of crew members working long shifts and almost getting into car accidents because they're overworked and sometimes underpaid. And just to give a little bit more light on the industry, that nobody deserves this. So again, it's a terrible situation that shouldn't be happening, and we will all be, especially in the I don't know what steps they're going to take. I'm sure you're going to hear people saying, well, all security should be armed, or whatever the talking points are. There's an occupational realm I often forget exists. They're offset. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like, it's irritating too, that I'm guilty of this too. We use, well, they did this, and we mean the producers, the directors, the people in charge, and sometimes the actors. But you will, if you go to a movie, you'll sit through maybe 10 minutes of credits, and there's thousands of people that work on movies. And it's a shame. It's a shame when tragedies happen, because it gets, especially in entertainment, I feel like it gets chalked up to like, I don't know, whatever excuse you hear via various media companies. So that's my first story today, and it's a tough one, but it's important, and I want people to remember that it's an industry. It's not just a handful of people. It's a lot of people that put their hard work, blood, sweat, and tears into, yeah, nobody deserves that. Nobody deserves that at all. And I don't know necessarily if I would have caught that story right away. So thank you, Ryan, for sending me that this morning. There, to switch up the tone a little bit, I'm gonna go into something that this was news that came out, I think, yesterday, that I didn't talk about. I think I read this after I'd done my show yesterday. And this involves the Munsters. We've talked about the Munsters here. Ryan's been, I think, pretty positive towards it. Pat, I think, was giving me some, well, he understands the angle, which I understand the angle too. I just don't think the angle looks good. But it turns out, this was, when you see the trailer, it starts off with the vintage Universal Pictures logo, the world spinning and the plane flying in front of it. all black and white. Well, they did produce the movie, but they sold it to Netflix. So the Munsters is going to be a Netflix. They'll label it as a Netflix original. And so for me, I feel like, and it's a tricky line to walk, because I'm supportive of Netflix, and I even want to talk about their numbers that came out today too. Netflix, they didn't have a sustainable business model, or they haven't had one, and they are, the news came out a couple months ago that they were hemorrhaging subscribers, and it was all due to this network or password sharing thing that they were doing, cracking down on the password sharing. Mind you, nobody took into account that they literally cut off all of Russia from, during the beginning stages of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Over 200,000 of those subscribers were from Russia. Just because, American corporations were doing whatever they could to say this is bad. And Netflix was one of those companies. And it unsubscribed, canceled a bunch of accounts. Over 200,000. So that definitely plays into their numbers. And then everybody was saying that they're gonna just continue hemorrhaging subscribers. And today it came out that they've lost less than 1 million subscribers, which sounds like a lot, and it is a lot, but it's, first of all, not as much as a lot of people were speculating. But also Netflix still has 220 million plus subscribers. 220 million subscribers around the world. Sure, as a business, they are taking a hit. They, as some people might call them mavericks in their field. I mean, we have streaming services pretty much because of Netflix. They set the precedent and the model kind of for streaming. I do think other people have managed to jump on that bandwagon, do it maybe a little better. Disney Plus is pretty good. I like HBO. As an interface, I think Amazon Prime could get redone, but I don't, I kind of like Amazon Prime too. There's some great shows on there, of course. The Boys, and we're going to be getting like Lord of the Rings next month, and some other stuff. Invincible, oh, that's a great show. We haven't talked about that here, but Amazon Prime also has Invincible, which is great. It's a great show. It's animated, and Invincible and The Boys both, I think for the most part have, I never read the comics for either one. But friends of mine that are fans of the comic say the show is as good, if not better, for both of them, and for completely different reasons. But I do think Amazon Prime is doing pretty well. But Netflix has, apparently lost about 1 million subscribers this quarter. And I'm not totally scared about that. I was listening to a podcast earlier with John Roca and Jeff Snyder. And Jeff Snyder had made the comment of, this is, who cares? And I kind of agree. This is kind of a nothing story. It's really just a pivot in business model on Netflix end, and it's kind of easy. to figure out what they can do better. Less, stop approving every show that comes to your desk. First and foremost, just stop okaying everything. Find some of the things you have. I mean, they own the Avatar, The Last Airbender property, and I know they're supposed to be doing something with that. There's been people coming and going from that, but all they got to do is kind of focus more on less stuff and do better marketing. I think a huge problem Netflix has as well is the binging aspect. And I know a lot of people like binging, but on a business end, it causes problems because let's say you drop Stranger Things. And I know we're still talking about it because it just dropped a couple of weeks ago. And this is kind of the exception to the rule. Stranger Things was so popular that like people are talking about it most. You get a longer lifespan out of it. However, had they done week to week, we would be talking about Stranger Things for a lot longer, and not just like the scenes, the Kate Bush or the Master of Puppet scenes or whatever. And they could do themselves a favor of doing. I think they should. I don't know if they have experimented with the like week to week too much. Nothing off the top of my head, but let's like some of your series you could definitely do week to week. Stranger Things up against Obi-Wan, like people were talking about Stranger Things as a whole, but you had 6 weeks of people talking about Obi-Wan, and you just get way more marketing out of that. You got the people coming to work on Thursday being like, did you see Obi-Wan last night? Or Wednesday or Thursday, whenever y'all watch it, but I'm a midnight guy myself. So so Netflix has some things to do, but the Munsters is gonna be one of those originals, and I kind of think that makes a little more sense to me. It was a $40 million movie, and to get made. I don't know how much Netflix purchased it for. Universal probably has made their money back already through the purchase. Maybe, I don't know. It depends on at what process this was sold to Netflix. Maybe this was always going to be that way. It just was never communicated to us. That's what it's going to be. And look, I know I've talked some garbage on the Munsters. I don't think it looks very good. I'm sorry. I love trash too, and this trailer did absolutely nothing for me. I thought it was bad all around. So I don't know. I don't know how that's going to turn out, or what Netflix is going to do as a whole, as a company going forward. They've got some things to think about for sure. But there are a couple of things that I think they could do right away that would start saving them money. Which is, again, just stop okaying every project. I'm saying this as somebody who wants to direct myself and would love a chance to pitch something to Netflix. But at the same time, as a company, I get it. You don't need to make everything that comes across your desk just in hopes that it's, some sort of hit. Netflix has been around long enough now, and they have enough intellectual properties that they own or can distribute, that I just think they should rein it in a little bit, market better. And then the other thing I heard was they're gonna start offering various tiers of the cheapest one's gonna have ads, and then you pay for the ad-free one, which is annoying. That's what a lot of companies do. Hulu does that. So we'll see. We will see what's going on with Netflix in the next, couple of years. We'll see how Munsters does. I don't think it's going to get a lot of great reviews, particularly because that trailer looked awful, and then it was announced it was going to be a Netflix thing. That's like, well, I guess we'll kind of get into it. My next topic, this guy. That is Zack Snyder. He directed 300. He did the Watchmen movie, not the series. The series is fantastic. The movie's pretty good. I do like the movie. The director's cut. All of Zack Snyder's movies, in my opinion, are better as director's cuts, or the director's cuts are usually better than the theatrical release that he does. But the reason we're talking about Zack Snyder today is because of there was a Rolling Stone article that came out yesterday. And this is the title. It says, "Fake accounts fueled the Snyder Cut online army." I think this is kind of funny to me because this article feels like it's not a hit piece, but it feels like it's extending the Warner Brothers Zack Snyderverse beef. It was, the whole Justice League movie was a complete mess all around. And then Zack Snyder stepped away. There was definitely, as time goes on, and we could kind of tell when it was happening too. It seemed like there was a little bit of push and pull with Warner Brothers and Zack Snyder. And then he left, and they basically let him go when his adoptive daughter committed suicide. And it was, it's an awful thing for a parent to deal with and go through, coupled with this huge drama that's gone on with this whole, really the whole franchise. He kind of started the DCEU with Man of Steel. I actually really like Man of Steel. I would love to see a sequel to that. If we do more Superman stuff, I kind of don't really. It's hard to get past Henry Cavill. He's really good in the role, or he can be really good, depending on the writing. So I would be down for a Man of Steel too. However, I don't think that's ever gonna happen with Zack Snyder behind the camera. Where do you even go? So there, after he left, Joss Whedon directed or finished the movie and basically produced a Justice League movie that was very little resembled the Zack Snyder cut very little, or Zack Snyder's version of Justice League. And the movie, across the board, most people did not like. It was uneven, some bad dialogue, some bad CG. There's a lot of CG, and it definitely felt. I mean, CG can be a tricky thing to talk about. The Whedon version felt like a bad video game from like the early 2000s. And then after the movie came out, there was this after or before the Snyder version was released? There was talk from Ray Fisher, who plays Cyborg, about a toxic work environment that came out, and there was an internal investigation and a lot of public back and forth. Ray Fisher was publicly calling out bigwigs at Warner Brothers and caused a lot of drama for sure. Not as much as we're currently going through with, let's say, The Flash, but it was important. I stand with Cyborg, and mostly because I know what the film industry can do, or can be like, and yeah, I do believe there was probably some toxic work environment going on there. But now we've got to today where Rolling Stone published this article about how the online army that was like restore the Snyderverse, the gung ho online community, it's being reported that Zack Snyder was behind the online push for it. Now this seems weird. For a lot of reasons. And it feels like Warner Brothers is rehashing the drama that has gone on with them in the last couple years. If I was a person at Warner Brothers, I probably wouldn't have allowed this if they were even made aware that this article was happening. I wouldn't have okayed it just because it's bad press, and you're just drowning in bad press right now. Not all press is good press. You have the Amber Heard, the Ezra Miller stuff. You got so much stuff going on that it seems weird to just bring this back up. I do think. Well, I'll get into what I think in a second, but there was an investigation by was it 2 or 3 third-party sources who had looked into the hashtag restore the Snyder Cut, and they found that 13% of those exchanges online were bots. And so now this Rolling Stone article is coming down on Zack Snyder as, he's disingenuous and he did this and this was his fault and all this stuff. And I have a hard time buying that. I'm not saying he's not capable of that. I think anybody could be capable of something like this. But first of all, I don't think it's like the worst thing in the world. Because it's 13% of bots. That means 87% of the fan base still existed. That means that those fans that wanted the Snyderverse back, even if they're toxic, which there are some really bad toxic communities, Star Wars, Marvel, DC, they can all be really, really shitty communities at times, and especially in online forums and stuff like that. But they still existed. These people still existed. There was still an almost 90% of the online community that was pushing for the restore the Snyderverse. They were still actually people. I find this hard to believe, partly because first of all, there was no Snyder Cut finished. I know some people will say, well, it was mostly done. Well, if you still have to ask for $70 million and a year to finish your movie, it's not done. You might have concept art. They had to do reshoots. They had to do all kinds of... reshoots aren't bad. Reshoots are normal. But when you're saying you have a finished movie and then spend another $70 million on it, on the production of it, and then... and do reshoots and stuff like that. I mean, first of all, I think that's good on the creative end. If you've sat with something for so long and you decide, you know what, maybe it's better to change it up this way or this way, it might be a better movie. I think that's a good thing. It can be a good thing. But if you're telling me $70 million and a year later your movie was done, no, it wasn't. It was not done. Again, you might have had a lot of concepts and stuff, but you still had to finish the movie. It was not done. But I do think that Warner Brothers benefited heavily from it. You know, they said this caused them to they felt tricked, and it caused them to spend more money. Well, you decided to spend that money already. You were the ones that spent over $200 million to make this movie. It was poorly received by everybody. And then when you do see that there is a fan base that wants this is a very specific scenario too. I know there's more of these in Hollywood than there used to be, but I mean, at the same time, like, most movies don't get 70-80% complete and then the director gets fired only to have a separate movie replaced. There are stories throughout Hollywood history of this, but this Justice League thing was very specific. The other thing about this that seems suspicious to me is that Warner Brothers had just launched HBO Max, and it was a subscription booster to HBO Max. They needed something big to get people in and on board, other than just having the, you know, Harry Potter movies and, you know, HBO stuff. They needed something, and that Justice League movie did that for them. Now, I don't know that people are saying that's the best movie ever made, but it was far superior to the garbage that was put out previously, the Joss Whedon cut, that's Joss Whedon has this whole other, like, problems that, from Ray Fisher to his ex-wife, and other people in between that, you know, talked about him being hard to work with, sexist, racist, those kinds of things. I don't know, man. I think Warner Brothers, I feel like would have been better. It would have been better for them to just not say anything, or, you know, if this Rolling Stone article was to come out, or they knew it was coming out, to do something about it, because they're just in such a hot mess right now. This isn't helping anybody. This isn't helping them. This isn't helping Zack Snyder. But I do think it does play another thing. There's a new guy in charge over at DC. I forget his name. He Discovery Plus, or this Discovery guy, purchased Warner Brothers. But and I don't necessarily blame him if this is his mentality, but I do think he's walked into a mess, or he's acquired a giant mess. And I think that, you know, you do have the Restore the Snyderverse fans, which, please don't. I liked the Justice League movie, but I don't want to see any more of this. I would love to see Zack Snyder just do more stuff. Going back to Netflix, he has a movie coming out soon, which was actually a failed Star Wars pitch that he's turning into a Netflix movie. It's called Rebel Moon. Ray Fisher, who played Cyborg, is going to be in it, and a handful of other people, and that'll be on Netflix soon. Maybe that is, you know, one of these sci-fi movies that gets some more subscribers for Netflix. It could be the thing. I don't want to see more Snyder versus DC stuff right now. I'm not saying don't. I don't know what they should do. They're DC's all over the place. They got Joker. They got this new Batman. They've got the remaining Wonder Woman and Aquaman still continuing their roles. But I don't know. I don't know what Warner Brothers should do, or what they're gonna do. I don't think they should have brought this up, though. This was, I think, poor timing for everybody. Zack Snyder, Warner Brothers themselves, in the middle of all this, and the week before Comic-Con. You know, So we're gonna have to wait and see what happens with this. Again, 87% of those of those accounts were real. Only 13 were bots, and I know there's only 13. Well, there was 50 million people or whatever the numbers are. Still, that fan base, it clearly existed. It's this isn't a 60-40 scenario. This is a like 90-10 scenario. Um, so I feel like if Warner Brothers felt duped, that's their own fault. That's that's how they were running DC for the last couple of years. Um, so I don't feel bad for Warner Brothers in this scenario. This all could be true, and I still wouldn't feel very bad for Warner Brothers. Um, I do still feel a little bad for Zack Snyder. All of this is being brought up again. I mean, this last handful of years was probably some of the toughest in his life. Maybe I don't know, but it's I don't know. I'm not a huge Zack Snyder defender either when it comes to his films. I don't like some of his stuff. I think certain parts of his movie making could be better. I feel like he, in a way, is kind of like George Lucas. He's a very good world builder, and great with visuals, but could maybe use some work in other areas. Um, so that's what's going on with Zack Snyder. What do you guys think? What do you think about the whole Netflix stuff? Do you think they're gonna fail? Do you think this is gonna be the end of Netflix? You think we'll see their demise in the next couple of years? I don't. But what do you guys think? What do you think about Zack Snyder? Um, do you think all of this is true, and he, got out of has gone out of his way to promote a toxic fan base? Um, I don't know. He very well could have, and that part of the story is true, that sucks because I don't want to see toxic fan bases. It makes the content itself less when you have so many people saying things like, "Oh, gatekeeping," or just being shitty in general. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Comment in the comment section or in the chat or in the in the comment section below. I'm gonna go to a quick commercial break. Wait, hold on. Ryan just wrote, Zach zombie flicks are all right. I don't know what the ideology he promotes to his fans. As far as I know, nothing. Everything I've seen with him, he actually seems like a really nice guy. Um, uh, and I've only heard great things about him. I mean, the whole Justice League cast basically took his side when all of the Joss Whedon stuff was coming out. So I don't know. Wait, did he do the oh, forgive me. Was it the Dawn of the Dead where they're all in the mall? I think he did that one. And that one was great. I liked that one. I thought that was really good. And I know he did some Netflix stuff too. Well, there was a newer one and then like a spin-off that came out. Oh, you canceled Netflix about 4 months ago. They need to make some massive acquisition somehow. Yeah, I think they need to. Yeah, Dawn of the Dead was sweet. They definitely need to make some new business decisions. Overall, I like some of the stuff that's on there, but for me, Netflix is one of those things where it's like check back every couple of weeks. Yeah, Vegas of the Dead or something. Yeah, it was like a bank heist with zombies, I think, is kind of how they played that. I didn't watch it. I'm not a terribly big horror fan, but I've been enjoying more horror movies in the last couple of years, so maybe I'll start diving into some of them. I don't know. But I'm going to do a quick commercial break, and I'll come back, and then we can talk about my main topic, which is the Ghosts TV show. There's there's a UK version that's like 3 years old, and then there's an American version that's about a year old. And I watched both of them, and I have thoughts. So when we come back from the break, I will talk about them. Feelings only get hurt when you have them.
I'm Richard from Richard's Pet Wedding Facilities, and I give these stickers away at every pet wedding. The kids love them too.
This bag from, what's his name? Wild Dinosaur? Weren't they all wild? What an oxymoron. Anyways, I like to put my special things in this bag. Plus, I'm pretty sure this is my spirit animal.
Life gave me lemons, so I sold them for this sweet baseball tee. I'm not wearing my baseball tee today. I'm actually wearing one of my designs. I don't have this one up on my store, but I got a little nervous after a while because it's a Game Boy, and I didn't want to get, copyright infringement or anything. But that's one of mine. And yeah, check out wilddinosaur.com. So today, I was going to talk about this on Friday with the Comic-Con stuff, and then technical issues happened, so I didn't even do a show on Friday. Yesterday I was going to talk about this a little bit, but there was a lot of stuff to talk about with Comic-Con, and there's going to be more this week. Which, as a quick reminder, I will be going live all week. Sunday, I think, will be the only day I take off. And then next week I will be off all week. Unfortunately for you guys, maybe not Ryan, because he'll see me at some point. But yeah, I'm going to the Bay Area to visit some friends and family, and I'm gonna take some much needed time to myself to not stress myself out with my short film or the records I'm working on or anything else really. So I apologize that this is not going to be on next week, but it's for my own mental health. But today, so yeah, you'll get an episode Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday because of Comic-Con. But let's see. What do I got here? What's this graphic I made? I don't remember. This one. Ghosts. There's a British BBC comedy called Ghosts that came out, I think, 2019. And it's about a couple. Well, the wife has a relative who passes away, who leaves them a mansion, like a giant estate. And it's an old estate that dates back, 200 years, maybe more. I don't know. The American version is slightly different because of geography. But so they move into this house, and in the first episode, the wife falls and hits her head. I think she falls out of the window. She hits her head and goes to the hospital and learns relatively quickly that she can see ghosts. And ghosts inhabit the areas that they die. So, there's a proximity. They can't really travel. They can't really go places. So they're kind of stuck. But this mansion she lives in, this big estate, there is a number of ghosts that occupy the estate. There is Pat. He is he was a camp counselor in the late 80s, I think, and via an accident, he's shot through the neck by one of his campers, and dies. He dies on the property, and his character, he's always in the scout uniform, and he's got the arrow through his neck. It's pretty great. And he's just like a really nice character. There is a relative of the wife, not the one that died. She, as they refer to it, gets sucked off, which means she's not, a ghost. She goes to the afterlife. But there is this other relative that lived in the mansion in the 1800s or something. She's there, and she's always she's kind of the nagging mom figure, if you will. She's always talking about how a woman who shows her knees can't live in this house. It's just like the character wearing shorts or something like that. There is a British officer from World War II that died on the property who's there. He's really rigid in his ways. He's a military guy. So, and then let's see what else is there. There's another guy from the 1700s, who he's a poet, and he's just madly in love with the wife, and he wants her to leave her husband. And even at times he's like, well, maybe you could just die and we could be here together forever. He's kind of sad and pathetic, but he's also that's what makes him funny. That's partly what makes him funny. That and being super dramatic, poet, I guess, also makes it really good. There's a headless guy who's constantly losing his head. And there's a caveman, who he's been on the property since the dinosaurs. There's another. The character names are slipping my mind, but there's another girl who is just kind of naive, and just wants to be besties with everybody. The cast is great. Everyone has their own moments. In the UK Ghosts, all of the ghosts are the writers. They're all comedians and actors, and so they're all writers and producers on the show. And then there's this American version that came out this last year. They I think just finished their first season. The BBC series has 6-8 episodes. This American version has 19 for their first season. Just standard for American TV, I guess, especially CBS, because it's on CBS. And it's the same premise, different set of ghosts though. There's parallels. You still have the older family member that died in the 1700s or 1800s or whatever, that's lived there. You still have my nose is itchy today. You still have the camp counselor. These are all played by different people. The writers, the ghosts from the UK version are all listed as producers, executive producers on the UK or the US version. But none of them have made appearances yet. I don't know why I forgot one of the best characters. No, they're all great. Simon Farnaby, who I know from Mighty Boosh and stuff like that. Comedies, Bunny and the Bull. He plays a politician ghost. He's a ghost that died on the property. And he's a politician from the late 80s, early 90s, and he died during a sex scandal. So he's always wearing the suit and tie top, but no pants, which is pretty good. And there's the same there's a couple of the same characters played by different actors in the U.S. version. There's the politician with no pants in the U.S. version. The U.S. version, instead of the caveman, they have there's a Native American, and is there somebody else too? I think they kind of sorry, let me look at this real quick. There's the Viking. There's a Viking. There is somebody from the Revolutionary War. He's the basically the military leader from the in the British version. He's World War II military guy. In the American version, he's Revolutionary War military personnel. There's a hippie Native American politician, and then a woman from the 20s who was like a jazz singer or something like that. And she wants to figure out who murdered her. But so now that I've kind of gone through the characters and explained all of them, I watched the first one on Pat's recommendation. And I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. Then I think it was like a week later, they announced the US version, or I had seen that was coming out or just came out. And I was already like, I don't know if I want to see this. There are not many good American remakes of British shows. I know a lot of people would say The Office, and I think that would be an exception to the rule. Not an exception. It would be one of the few that maybe Americans think was done well. I personally am not that big of a fan of The Office. Either version, really. Even though if I had to pick one, I would probably pick the Ricky Gervais version of The Office. Just because it wasn't on for as long and didn't linger, and oh god. I mean, if you guys really want to have the conversation, Parks and Rec is the superior show. Those are fighting words, I know. But I was hesitant at best about the Ghost remake. A show that I've liked for a long time is the IT Crowd, and they tried to do. I watched the it's on YouTube somewhere, the American pilot version of it, and it was a shot for shot remake, and it was not good. It was not good. They even had one of the best characters in the BBC series even reprised his role in the American version, and it was just still not good. Joel McHale was like the lead in that one. Anyways, Ghosts I was really hesitant about, and then I was thinking about it. I was like, yeah, I'll probably need some stuff to talk about here pretty soon, so I decided to watch it. And you know what? I liked it. I liked the US version of it. And when I was talking about What We Do in the Shadows, was that yesterday? I was talking about how they have various versions of it, and each version like retains similar jokes, but they are able to use them in ways that still work from one version of it to the other. They do recycle jokes in What We Do in the Shadows, and they tend to work for me. And I think for the most part, Ghosts was similar. They changed things enough that they were still unique and funny. This guy with the motorcycle, it was down my street. It's just like, yeah, I'm sure you can hear that. Anyways, ambient noise, huh? I was surprised by how good I thought the US version was. I mean, there's so far no overlapping actors. The couple in the BBC series I really like. There's a couple actors from other shows that I've watched. There's a show I like. It's on HBO, and I don't think it's coming back anytime soon, if at all. Called Stathlets Flats. And one of the characters in that is actually Nadia from What We Do in the Shadows TV show. Her real life brother is the main actor, and she plays his sister in the show. It's kind of it's a little bit autobiographical. They are Greek in real life, and that show centers around their dad being a retiring real estate. He owns a real estate agency, and he's just trying to do his best to take over the dad's company, but he's not good at all. He's just kind of a buffoon, and kind of weird, and there's weird characters. His sister's great in that too. But the husband, the living husband in the BBC version, he is of Ghost. He is on Stathlets Flats as one of the agents, and also I didn't bring this up. In the BBC version, there is a ghost from the Middle Ages, and she's hilarious. She I think she was burned at the stake or something like that for witchcraft. I don't remember how she died. But she's very much the Middle Ages mentality, and very ignorant to even basic things. It's really funny. She's really funny. And she's also in Stath. I actually prefer her character in Ghosts to Stathlets Flats. But yeah, Ghosts is a great show. I do prefer people watch the UK version first. Just to me, that's how a lot of people feel about, like, oh, if you're gonna go watch this movie, maybe read the book first. It's not necessary. When I recommended this show to my sister, she ended up watching the CBS version, and I hadn't seen it at that point. She was like, "Oh, this is pretty good." And I was like, "No, you're missing it. You're missing it. You're not watching the British version." When I ended up watching it, I enjoyed it. There's like I said, enough differences, and both shows are still current. There's another season of Ghosts happening at some point. I don't know if there's a release date yet for it, but it's not canceled at all. And the US version is, I guess, popular enough that it's, I think, getting a second season too. The main couple's really cute in the UK version, and the US version, honestly, it's hard to say that they're I'm not saying they're worse. It's perspective. I watched the UK version first. Everyone does a great job in this. And I do like this couple almost as much as the original couple. Most people might recognize the wife who inherits the estate. She was the main character. Forgive me, I don't know this actor. I didn't watch iZombie, but she was the main actress on iZombie, on CW. That lasted at least a handful of seasons, like 5 or 6 or something like that, I think. So yeah, this is the project she's been working on currently, or her latest project that's out. And again, I don't know if they're doing a second season, but I will watch season. I think the UK version has 3 seasons. I will watch the 4th, and I will watch season 2 of the US version. So, yeah, this is one of those shows that I kind of thought was going to be not as good as the original, but I actually really enjoyed it. So, yeah, check out Ghosts, everyone. Ghosts is a good show. The UK version is on HBO Max. That's where I watched it and have rewatched it. And the US version is on CBS. And I watched that on Paramount Plus. So if you're looking for them, that's where you can find them. So yeah, I don't know. Has anybody seen Ghosts, or any thoughts or anything about the difference between the UK and the US version? Yeah, I can't say one really. I can say I think Ghosts, the UK version, did it better only because it did it first. But that has nothing to do with the US version being bad at all. It's good, and like I said, they switch things up enough to make it unique and interesting. The UK version has a nosy neighbor, who's only in like 1 or 2 episodes. And they kind of play with that idea a little bit more in season 1 of the US version. And I really like that, actually. The guy that plays the nosy neighbor in the US version is it Larry from Perfect Strangers. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen him, I think. But no, actually he pops up here and there. But anyways, you guys seen ghosts in your house, in your bathroom? Do they scare the poop out of you? Have you had any interactions with real ghosts, or have you watched either one of these series, the UK or the US series? Yeah, let me know. Let me know in the comments below, and yeah, I'll try to get back. I would like to see some comments so I can in the underneath the videos, not in the chat, but on older videos. I will bring them up. I don't get a lot of comments, so I'll do my best to talk about them on air. Anyways, that's it for me today. That's my ghost story. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world. There's maybe some more stuff I could have talked about. I'll probably save some stuff for tomorrow. I don't really know. Every day is a day-to-day basis mostly. And I'm not sure what's coming out or what I'll have to talk about tomorrow. I'll still be here. I don't know what I'll have to talk about yet. Until Thursday and Friday, we're going to start hearing some Comic-Con stuff. So there'll be more news. And like I said, you'll get me the rest of the work week plus Saturday. So I'll be here Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday this week. And then I'm off next week again for some family and friends time. And part of that is I'm going to be probably seeing Ryan. So, Ryan, just so you know, I found this, and I'm going to just be doing some extra practicing. It's just a nice old beginner modes and scale guitar book. It's even got some Randy Rhoads and some Joe Pass. There you go. Look at him with his sweet looking hollow body. Might be a Dean. I can't tell. Anyways, I'm gonna get out of here because y'all probably don't care about most of this stuff. But I'm gonna go play some guitar, I think, for the rest of the evening. Yeah. Thanks for sticking with me. Like I said, I'll be back tomorrow with some more conversations. I don't know if Pat's coming over this week or not. I haven't really talked to him about being on any of the shows, but if he's available, he's more than welcome. If he's listening, you heathen. All right, guys. I'm taking off. Peace out, Ryan. Have a good rest of your night. Maybe we'll chat later. I don't know what you're up to. But yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow.